And we're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by Dr. Hassan Wagih, the Professor of International Relations. Dr. Hassan Wagih, I beg your pardon. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
Dr. Wagih, thank you very much for your time this morning. Let's start by discussing the recent press conference held by the Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdel-Ati, between himself and Sergei Lavrov, of course, in Moscow, and the call by the two top diplomats for immediate cessation of military operations in the Middle East, along, of course, with a necessity to return to the diplomatic track of negotiations. How important do you see this meeting, and what stood out the most after their press conference for you, Doctor?
Actually, this event could be also seen through the extensive diplomatic efforts exerted by the Egyptian diplomacy to de-escalate the situation and to put an end to this, what I may say, unfair war. And I think that the two parties are views are very compatible with each other in getting the whole thing calm now. The regionally and internationally, the whole world needs de-escalation.
Absolutely.
So I think we agreed on that.
Indeed, Doctor. They also warned and issued several warnings regarding the repercussions of the war on further dragging the region as well as the entire world into more turmoil, specifically on the energy and global trade front. How important do you see this aspect, sir?
Yes, I think that the two parties agree on defining this type of crisis as a fast-burning crisis. It could drag other people and it could drag other issues into focus, and this will be exacerbating of the conflict rather than trying to contain it. So they are making like a wake-up call, like an urgent call for de-escalation and put a stop on what happened so far, because what could be coming is worst-case scenarios. They don't want to see that. They don't want the whole world to see worst-case scenarios.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Wagih, the two sides also stressed the importance of preventing conflict from expanding, maintaining regional stability, and the continued coordination with the United Nations. What role can they play in this regard, specifically with coordination with other international bodies in order to try and de-escalate the situation?
Actually, this is very important because there is if this conflict could be viewed as between two elements, the zero-sum mentality and the win-win mentality, the non-zero-sum mentality. And I think the appropriate place supposedly to be the United Nations Security Council and the General Assembly of the United Nations. And of course, this would gather many people, several parties now who are trying to do or to provide initiatives for peace and stability in the world. So I think these efforts should get together to combine a force that this Machiavellian policies, the zero-sum mentality policies, will never work out for except for narrow-minded agendas, and this would impact the entire world.
Now, Doctor, is there a joint Egyptian-Russian initiative to guarantee freedom of navigation in vital waterways with the discussions regarding this issue, specifically for the Strait of Hormuz, with its continued closure to some ships?
Yes, of course. The two parties really want to see the water straits in the world free for navigation, and it shouldn't be impacted by conflicts. And I think we are in a total agreement when it comes to this.
Now, on another front, the discussions between the two ministers also centered on the continued development of ties between Egypt and Russia, specifically in the investment sector. Also, collaboration in line with the Treaty on the Comprehensive Partnership and Strategic Cooperation, which they signed in 2018. Tell us a bit about some of the joint Russian-Egyptian collaboration, specifically the Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific and Technical Cooperation.
Yes, I think this is a very important event. It's a very important relationship. It is a very strategic relationship.
Indeed.
Egypt and the previous Soviet Union had a strategic relationship. It continued to be with Russia, and I think it's a long history of strategic relationship. The Russians really took very firm stances when it comes to certain aggression in the area, and I think that the cooperation with Egypt is very important. And this is renewed during the reign of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who really consolidated that relationship and made it a strategic and a very balanced way with all other powers in the world. So I think when it comes to cooperation, yes, cooperation potentials are great between the two states. Mm-hmm. You know, there is a hub for grain and energy now being launched, and it will be on the land of Egypt. And I think this is for the sake of Egypt very much.
Absolutely.
And also the oil. There is some kind of agreements regarding it too.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Doctor. Now, of course, they also deliberated on some of the, practical aspects of the large-scale project, the joint investment project, specifically the construction, of course, of a Daban nuclear power plant in Egypt and the establishment of a Russian industrial zone in the Suez Canal Economic Zone. Two mega projects and collaborations between the two countries.
Yes, I think these mega projects are very important, and it reminds us with a very important mega project that we have already achieved together, which is the High Dam. The High Dam proved to be a great project for peace and stability, and I think that having these mega projects reminds us that we succeeded in one mega project, and we will be having a success, inshallah, in these two big mega projects.
Indeed. And now, Dr. Wagih, also the discussions focused on other issues related to the developments and the situation in, of course, the Palestinian and Israeli conflict and the war, saying that, of course, they are aligned based on the universally recognized rights and international legal framework for the establishment of the independent Palestinian state on the borders of 1967, with East Jerusalem as its capital. How do you see the Russian perspective and point of view when it comes to the Palestinian cause?
It is very well known stance, and it's very supportive to the all international laws that were issued by the United Nations, and I think Russia is for the legitimacy of the international law and the implementing of the two-state solution when it comes to the Palestinians. It is very good that Egypt is having with Russia this joint communique to attract the entire world's attention that, you know, the current war in the Gulf, the unfair current war in the Gulf should not impact the attention that should be given to the peace plan proposed by President Trump to achieve the first stage, which was achieved to keep it on the right track, and to go for the second phase of the peace plan. And because there is a lot of suffering on the part of Palestinians, despite the fact that there is an apparent ceasefire is applied, but they need humanitarian aid, they need a lot of work, they need transformation of authority to organize affairs of the Palestinians who are really suffering, and attention should be given, and attention should not be swayed because of the current war.
Absolutely, Dr. Wagih. Also, several issues were touched upon, the crises in other nations in the region, including Libya, Sudan, Yemen, as well as the escalations in Lebanon. And the two top diplomats discussed the necessity of resolving these crises through diplomatic and peaceful means. How do you see their alignment in this regard, especially with the eruption of unrest all around the region?
Yes, this is a terrible situation that we are all suffering from. to have on almost every place in the Arab world and in our area. I mean, there is some sort of seditions, disputes. Egypt is exerting a great deal of effort to bring order and to bring stability to all our neighboring countries and to all places in this region. And of course, it's very good to have a partner like the Russians and other international partners who can help in getting all these kind of disputes settled, because Africa should, and the area in general, should enjoy stability and stable and sustainable development, hopefully, inshallah.
Indeed, right. On that note, I'd like to thank you very, very much. Our guest for this morning on The Breakfast Show, Dr. Hassan Wagih, our Professor of International Relations. Many thanks, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us on the morning's Breakfast Show.